Dear friends and viewer, a play written by Tennessee Williams. The name of this play is A Streetcar Named Desire. So this is a play, and the play takes place right after World War II in New Orleans, Louisiana. The Kowalski apartment is in a poor but charming neighborhood in the French Quarter. Stella, 25 years old and pregnant, lives with her blue-collar husband Stanley Kowalski. It is a summertime and the heat is oppressive. Blanche Dubious, Stella's older sister, arrives unexpectedly, carrying all that she owns. Blanche and Stella have a warm reunion, but Blanche has some bad news. Bela Rivi, the family mansion, has been lost. Blanche stayed behind to take care for their dying family, while Stella left to make a new life for herself. And Blanche is clearly resentful by her sister's abandonment of the family. Blanche meets her sister husband Stanley for the first time, and immediately she feels uncomfortable. Why we learn that Blanche was once married when she was very young, but her husband died, leaving her widowed and alone. Stanley initially distrusts Blanche, thinking that she has cheated Stella out of her share of Bela Revi. But Stanley soon realizes that Blanche is not the swindling type, but the anonymity between the two continues. Blanche takes long baths, criticizes the squalor of the apartment, and irritates Stanley. Stanley's roughness bothers Blanche as well, since he makes no effort to be gentle with her. One night during a poker game, Stanley gets too drunk and beats Stella. The women go to their upstairs neighbor's apartment, but soon Stella returns to Stanley. Blanche is unable to understand Stella, and Stanley's powerful and destructive physical relationship. That night, she also meets Mitch, prompting an immediate mutual attraction. The next day, Stanley overhears Blanche saying terrible things about him. From that time on, he devotes himself fully to her destruction. Blanche herself has a shady past that she keeps close to the west. During the last days of Bela Revi, after the mansion was lost, she was exceptionally lonely and turned to stranger for comfort. Her numerous amorous encounters destroyed her reputation in Laurel, leading to the loss of her job as a high school English teacher and her near expulsion from town. Tensions build in the apartment throughout the summer. Blanche and Stanley see each other as enemies, and Blanche turns increasingly to alcohol for comfort. Stanley, meanwhile, investigates Blanche's past, and he passes the information about her sexual dalliances on to Mitch. Although Blanche and Mitch had been on track to marry, after he learns the truth, he loses all interest in her. On Blanche's birthday, Mitch stands her up, abandoning her for good. Stanley, meanwhile, caustically presents Blanche with her birthday gift, bus tickets back to Laurel. Blanche is overcome by sickness. She cannot return to Laurel, and Stanley knows it. As Blanche is ill, in the bathroom, Stella fights with Stanley over the cruelty of his act. Mid-fight, she tells him to take her to the hospital. The baby is coming. That night, Blanche packs and drinks. Mitch arrives unexpectedly. He confronts her with the stories of her past, and she tells him with the stories of her past, and she tells him the lurid detail, the truth about her escapades in Laurel. He approaches her, making advances, wanting what she has denied him all summer. She asks him to marry her, and when he refuses, she kicks him out of the apartment. Hours later, Stanley comes home to get some sleep while Stella's labor continues. Blanches further antagonize Stanley, destroying his good humor, and he responds by mercilessly destroying Blanche's illusion one by one, until finally he rapes her. Weeks later, another poker game is being held at Kowalski's apartment. Blanche has suffered a mental breakdown. She has told Stella about Stanley's assault, but Stella has convinced herself that it cannot be true. A doctor and nurse come and take Blanche away to the asylum. The other men continue their poker game as if nothing has been happened. So this is the story of the play, A Streetcar Named Desire. In this play, we find certain themes. The first of all, we see in this play a fantasy, an illusion. Blanche dwells in illusion. Fantasies are primary means of self-defense, both against outside threats and against our own demons. So the old and new south story, Stella and Blanche come from a world that is rapidly dying. Bailey Reeve, their family's ancestral plantation, has been lost, and the two sisters are the last living members of their family and symbolically of their old world of cavaliers and cotton field. Cruelty, another theme which involved in this play. The only unforgivable crime, according to Blanche, is deliberate cruelty. This sin is Stanley's specialty. His final assault against Blanche is a merciless attack against an already beaten foe. Blanche, on the other hand, is dishonest, but she never lies out of her malice. The primitive and the primal. Blanches often speak of Stanley as ape-like and primitive. Stanley represents a very unrefined manhood, a romantic idea of man outtouched by civilization. Desire, closely related to the theme of above, desire is the central theme of the play. Blanche seeks to deny it, although we learn later in the play that the desire is one of her driving motivations. Loneliness, the companion theme to desire, is loneliness, and between these two extremes, Blanche is lost. Desire versus cemeteries, romance versus realism. The fundamental tension of the play is this play between the romantic and the realistic, played out in parallel in the pairing of lust and death. So Blanche takes the streetcars named Desire and cemeteries, and like the French, those cars and themes they symbolize run together to Blanche's final destination. So, ladies and gentlemen, this play by Tennessee Williams is no doubt a famous play, played in a movie form also. I hope you will enjoy it when you read it. Thank you.